But New Holland is back in Western Canada, strong as can be, very premium. A couple examples of how New Holland is not only a broad farm equipment company, but a premium, always bringing the best innovative products, is our tracks. We recently launched our smart tracks for our four-wheel drive tractors. Well, these aren't just any old tracks. These are tracks that are really the best track offering in the market today. It's a track that's a high idler, that's got it can really go over anything. So it's a track that is not going to have warranty problems. If you look at the engineering behind the track, which I'm looking at over there, you'll see that this track is the premium offering today in the market. It's an aftermarket offering as well as an offering that we can put on right out of our Fargo plant. But it's an offering that we've waited for years to have, and now I'm happy to say that New Holland not only has tracks but the best tracks.
Our Smart Track option is something that's new for this year, and the Smart Tracks is a bolt-on option. It goes right onto the axles where you would mount your tires, so a customer has the ultimate flexibility. He can still have tracked tires and run the tractor on tires if he feels like it. He has tracks for the wet and muddy conditions that we experienced last spring. A lot of the market in the industry, and especially in Western Canada and the northern part of the US, everybody's starting to go to tracks all the time. The big advantage of our Smart Track solution is we have the ability to actually mount these tracks on our combine as well. So you can take them off the tractor when you're finished in the spring and you park it, and mount them on the tractor for the really wet situation you're going to run into in the fall with the combine. The company that supplies these originally made these for the off-road seismic oil field construction market. So they made these tracks for vehicles that weigh upwards of 150,000 pounds. A big four-wheel drive like this is normally in the 50 to 60,000 pound range. So they're very, very tough and robust tracks, and it gives us the ability to put them on anything, and they'll survive anything a customer does in the ag market. However, that does make it a very heavy vehicle. So some of our lower horsepower tractors don't have the safety capability in the ROP structure to handle that. We are working with that company to provide us future designs where we can mount them on some of the smaller tractors as well, without really compromising the benefits of the big track modules themselves. Okay, one of the main things we have in our tractors, and the big tractors going from the T6, T7, the T8, and the T9, is our Sidewinder 2 armrest. So this is our second generation Sidewinder 2 armrest, and we interviewed 300 customers of what they wanted for controls and where, and we also used our Fiat Auto side of the company in terms of ergonomics and comfort for customers from cars. And so this armrest moves forward and backward, and as it moves forward, it goes on an upward plane. And the benefit of that is for a person with shorter legs, they also have shorter arms. So as they get closer to the steering wheel, the armrest is more comfortable for them in where they operate it. Once you have it set, you have the ability to put your arm in one place and move your hand between multiple controls and the touchscreen without moving your elbow. So you're not continually moving your arm 12 hours, 13 hours a day. It's all in one place. You have the orange buttons, gives you the ability to operate and drive the tractor forward and back. And then these are accessory functions. You can raise the 3-point hitch, engage the auto guidance, the headland turn activation, and then hydraulic remotes on the back of the tractor. From there, you can then move over to accessory functions we can add to the armrest depending on which tractor you're driving. The Sidewinder armrest also has some of the accessory functions, which is on the side pod here, and these are the things you don't pay attention to all the time. It just gives you the ability to put your hand on top, and you just push the button when you feel that you need to operate something or turn it on and off. And we place the items on the picture of a tractor so that your diff lock is right where the diff locks are on a tractor, the engine buttons are up where the engine is, and the 3-point hitch is where the 3-point hitch is at. So it's very easy to understand and figure out how to do it on your tractor. Our armrest also has mounted on it our IntelliView 3 display, and this display is a touchscreen display. You have some main functions on the left-hand side of the display that a customer would look at all the time, fuel capacity, etc., how are things going. And then he has a number of other screens that we call run screens. And a customer can actually customize what he wants to look at on his particular screens. And when his son or his hired man gets in the vehicle, He just has to change the display to say that George is in the cab, and all those screens switch to what George wants to look at. So you can have one of these screens be your one for guidance. You can have another one that shows your implement and your air drill and turning off the runs on the air drill or adjusting the fan speed. And then the other one is some of the things with the tractor. How much fuel are you using? How many acres have you covered today, etc. as you go through the field. We put all the controls in a very easy place to get at them. And we've got an armrest there for your lower part of your hand. So if you're bouncing and moving through the field, you can still easily turn things on and turn things off as you need to do them. You can move your mirrors, play with your air conditioning and your heating controls, as well as your headlights and turning on lights and turning off lights, etc. And the all-important playing the radio. The big thing we like to focus on our big T9 tractor is the ability to see what you're doing. So you want to have your visibility through the back of the tractor to the rear hitch and to the implement you're pulling. A lot of customers use this. For New Holland customers, you're pulling big air drills, especially in the Western Canada market. They're running air drills a lot, and those big air drills are very wide. They take a lot of power, and this is a machine to do it with. We also want to make sure that when you're driving around the yard, you have the ability to see out the front. So the over-the-hood visibility is the best in the industry. You can see as close to the hood on this tractor compared to anybody else, and just gives you safety. If there's any of your kids or grandkids moving around the yard, you have a much easier chance to see them and not cause any damage or hurt to anybody. The T9 tractor starts at a rated engine horsepower of 350, and there are 6 models in the family, and the biggest one goes up to 600 engine horsepower. This one we're driving today is the second biggest one, so this will be 535 engine power, and then the model number on the side of the hood represents the maximum engine horsepower that it can generate using what we call engine power management. And engine power management is an automatic feature on our big tractors that, as the tractor requires extra horsepower, especially when he's running air drills, if you're running a hydraulic orbit motor situation or you're running a PTO application, the tractor will output up to 40 or 50 more horsepower if it's required. And a lot of that happens automatically. There's nothing the customer has to do, and the tractor only adds the amount of horsepower required to get up that particular hill. So if it needs 20 more horsepower or 50 more horsepower, it adds it, and as soon as it feels it doesn't need it anymore, it takes it away.